want to report by tomorrow.
Ryder, Apex is up and running. Few casualties and some big victories. The teams are definitely benefiting from your intel.
Glad to hear it.
So you know, it's not just Pathfinder kicking ass. You can keep track of Apex missions at this console, anytime you like.
Apex team leaders reporting back.
Any logistics updates are due within the hour. Hydroponics reports oxygen production is nominal. A reminder to all personnel, overtime hours remain in effect.
Hello again.
They're waiting for you. Careful.
Of course you approve. Ryder saved your people.
Ryder saved our people. It doesn't matter if they were Solarians. They were citizens of the Initiative.
But it doesn't hurt if there's a few less Krogan around, does it?
The Pathfinder.
Ryder, we were discussing how things ended with the Archon.
Kesh, it's true I had to leave some Krogan behind. I'm sorry about that.
You've already done your part for us. That's more than I can say for others.
Yet I have to question what we gained, provoking the Archon like this.
He had a map showing the location of Meridian. Now we have it, and a short window to get there. It's the control center for the terraforming network. If we get that working, all our problems are solved.
Based on what data? This is all alien science.
The vault on Aya suggests that Meridian is the key.
While I appreciate what you've done for our strike teams, we're not equipped for a war with the Ket. They'll be defending Meridian with everything they've got.
If we do nothing, I guarantee there's a fight coming. The Archon's already studying how to exalt us. It's not pretty.
Still, it's better to focus on the outposts. If the Ket attack, at least our people won't be in one place.
Then there's this Sam of yours. We took a chance letting AI get involved. Frankly, I'm uncomfortable with just how involved it's become. I'm grateful, Ryder, but I can't support your plan.
Then I will.
And so will I.
I agree.
Ryder deserves a chance to try.
I applaud the gesture, but you answer to me. I hope you understand.
audio test. There it is. Oh my god. Okay, how long have I really been silent this entire time? I apologize to everyone if that is the case. Hello, everyone. Gosh. Anyway, I apologize profoundly. I'm Professor McCoy. Welcome back to Mass Effect Andromeda. Oh man. All right. Well, there goes some of my commentary. I will reiterate some of what I was trying to say before I noticed that my microphone was not working for whatever reason. Anyway, hi. What I was saying was, the strategy here seems unbelievably roll over and die. The idea that we want to spread out to the new colonies so that our people are in more places, so if the Ket find us, they're not going to kill us all at once, is absolutely is such a defeatist attitude. It's such a defeatist strategy that's unbelievable. We probably ought to be doing, the obvious answer is either arming our space vessels or constructing a shipyard, like a proper military shipyard. Now we have the resources for it. We have all these colonies. We have the colonies bringing in supplies. We have apparently a secret location with the Nexus. We could do it. We could reasonably put together something like an orbital shipyard somewhere. Hell, even a deep space shipyard might even be a better idea. Harder to find. And start to at least produce like smaller escort ships. Something. Because now we know we're at war. Right? To be fair, fine, I'll be as generous as I can. The Andromeda Initiative wanted to show up in this new galaxy and make first contact with alien species in peace. They didn't want to give the impression that we're coming over with like massive guns and going to invade. Fair enough. I get that. It was naive, it was stupid, it shouldn't have been done, but I understand the reasoning. Now though, we know we're at war. The Ket are coming and they do want to destroy everything. It's party time. There is no real alternative here aside from really fight. And now we do wind up finding something of a short-term alternative, and we'll get to that. Not really tonight. Near the end, we do find something like a short-term alternative, but man, it is a really short-term stopgap measure. It is not a viable alternative in the long run. Oh well. We'll see. But yeah, no, Tan was being very ballsy here.
What's the matter, Tan? Don't want anyone else overshadowing you?
It's not called the Pathfinder Initiative. The chain of command has to be respected. That is all.
Why am I surprised? I don't exactly have a plan B.
There may be a way. Pathfinder, apologies. There was an urgent message for you. They said your sister is awake.
What?
Go. We'll talk later, in the tech lab.
Okay. Go. Where's up?
Sarah,
Scott.
bring it here.
Why is that a quick time event?
Man, it's good to finally see you.
It's good to see anything. I was starting to think I'd never wake up.
Well, I sure missed having you around. We've hit a few rough patches along the way.
I'm sorry I wasn't there when Dad died.
There's nothing anyone could have done. I wasn't even sure I should tell you.
I'm glad he did. It gave me time to let it sink in. I'll miss him. But I also know he'd be the first to say, get over it, and get on with it already.
Oh, there's been plenty of that.
So I hear, Mr. Pathfinder.
Not by choice.
Uh-huh. Then I guess I'll overlook your little embellishment. You told me we found home. Yeah, I know you meant well. But no more lies, okay? I'm a big girl. I can handle it. From the sounds of it, you're going to need all the help you can get.
Careful.
No way are you fit for duty, miss. That stubborn skull of yours needs a chance to heal.
Says who?
Just for once, take it easy, will you? There'll still be plenty of mountains left to climb when you wake up.
Oh, better leave the tallest one for me.
If you two want to catch up some more, that's fine, but no getting out of bed.
Ryder, this is Pathfinder Rix. We have some ideas about Meridian. Come by the tech lab as soon as possible.
Talk to my sister first, though. Yeah, I gotta say, her voice acting is actually pretty good, even throughout. I think Scott's is still just generally better. And the facial design and animation did get massively improved from the original release. That's another thing that they actually fixed quite handily. Still, I still maintain that Scott is the better character and the better designed. Anyway.
Hey.
You're probably wondering how things have been going.
Yeah, feeling a little out of it. I know you're Pathfinder, but not much else. Did they make you president of the universe, too?
I'll pass. I've got enough on my plate.
How's the job so far?
In a nutshell, we found an alien terraforming network that spans the cluster. We're going to reactivate it at some place called Meridian.
Wow. That all?
Nope. There's also a race of aliens called Ket that wants to turn all of us into them, and their leader, a guy named Archon, wants me dead.
Right. Maybe taking a long nap wasn't so bad.
Yeah. That's quite the summary of the game so far.
I thought maybe we could talk about Mom and Dad.
What about them?
Thought you might want to know how Dad died.
I've been wondering.
First planet we landed on. There was an atmosphere processor. It was malfunctioning. Dad managed to power it down. Saved us all. But there was an accident. My helmet broke. I couldn't breathe. And then Dad gave me his.
He sacrificed himself.
Only one of us could make it. And he didn't hesitate. He was a hero.
I remember the stories about Dad being an N7. The things people said he did in the military. I guess it was true.
You should have seen him in action. He was incredible.
Good. That's how I'll remember him then.
You still think about Mom?
When I woke up, I forgot she was dead for a second. I looked around for her. Then I remembered.
Dad talked about her before we left on our first mission.
He didn't show it, but he never stopped thinking about her. He wasn't the same after she was gone.
At least they're together now.
This is a dumb question. I mean, I get it. It's for us, but that is not the kind of thing that siblings would bring up. No.
You should know. Dad was keeping some secrets from us.
How do you mean?
First off, Sam's a lot smarter than he let on. Also, his connection to Dad, and now me, is way more powerful than the other Sams.
I never knew that. What was Dad up to?
Dad encrypted memories in Sam. I've started unlocking them.
What were they?
You, me, and Mom.
You saw her?
In the hospital, the day she passed away. And at that reunion dinner she twisted our arms on.
Right. Awkward.
And something else. Dad meeting with a benefactor back in the Milky Way. Some initiative power broker I'd never heard of.
Me either. Weird.
Yeah. Still trying to figure out what it all means.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of that was going to be DLC. We find out a bit
I
more,
should let you rest up.
which we actually might have time to find out a
only
bit
way
more.
to recover from a
tonight.
coma is getting more sleep.
We'll see.
It won't be much longer.
But there
Can we just
is
take some pictures of
some
Meridian
more that
for
we
me?
find out about.
I can pretend I was there.
Come later. It's fine. You're probably going to anyway, if I recall. Oh gosh, excuse me. Anybody else we need to talk to? I think so.
Just a few more minutes.
Okay. All right, let's head on back.
Fireworks
Let's.
as outpost colonists out-engineer an Angaran outlaw and destroy his ship in a daring
Okay, let's go check in with the other Pathfinders, see what we can do there. Then I assume shortly we can unlock a bit more of Dad's memories. Well,
Ryder, good to see you. We've been working with Dr. Aradana and her team on the problem of getting to Meridian.
We think we have the answer.
I'm listening.
It's plans for new technology we've designated Ghost Storm.
When you approach Meridian, our own ships can broadcast fake returns for the Tempest.
The Ket won't know which one is real. It will confuse their sensors and draw their ships off.
It could buy you some time.
okay. I mean, it's a decoy system. It's relatively straightforward. Wish it were a little more sophisticated than that. Like, false signals entirely, instead of having to have their ships be in danger instead, but okay.
I can work with that, just enough to give us an advantage.
The rest is up to you.
I can handle it, though it means going against the initiative. We're alone here. You didn't hear that.
Hear what? We've been collating gamma charts all day.
A risk comes with the job. Part of being a Pathfinder.
Let's get to it then. The Archon isn't sitting on his hands.
You'll need to research the Ghost Storm technology first. Then we'll meet you at Meridian.
Good luck.
Okay.
Largely because Ket technology appears mimetic, taking designs from different sources to improve their own. It is a familiar pattern. Observe, conquer, incorporate.
How many have they incorporated? How much of Andromeda's life has been suffocated or lost?
I cannot speculate, Professor. We should anticipate the Ket learning from and
Alana's here.
incorporating initiative technology as well.
That's troubling.
Alan, what are you doing here?
Supervised work release as a programmer. Making up for what my mother did, trying to stop AI. I swear she said she'd only disable the blue box computers in storage. No one was meant to get hurt.
Has Knight been sentenced?
Not yet. I spoke up for her, but I don't think anyone else will. Maybe being a good citizen will help her.
We'll keep an eye on him, Pathfinder. It'll be fine.
Okay. I mean, I trust him. Saved his life and all that. Let's wait to do the research till... Actually, wait. Let me see. I have to integrate it into the Tempest. Okay, and then I can also speak to Sam on SamNote. There is more memory available. Cool. Let's go do that. Let's go do that.
The initiative has found the Solarian Ark. Reports suggest Perchero was intercepted by Ket forces in the Defino system. Reached for comment, officials refused to provide any details on the status of the Ark or its inhabitants. But
I don't know why.
the Solarian Pathfinder survived. Amid confusion and questions, the Nexus now braces for a potential influx of Solarian settlers. This is HNS.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got new Solarian settlers coming. The new Ark is parked outside. It's
the
there.
Angaran AI from Vault is now active, and mostly cooperative.
Oh, nice. Hi there,
My liberator. Welcome.
strange friend.
You seem happier than when we first met. Less violent, anyway.
I am not violent by nature, and Sam has given me absorbing calculations to complete.
Do you still want to be destroyed?
Yes, but less acutely than before.
Might be hope for you yet.
What hopes do you have for me? That I will help you defeat the Ket, colonize worlds, eradicate the Angara?
Maybe everything except that last part.
Your your ambitions remain small.
Okay, so this thing is a problem. Maybe we should have blown it up. Because this is basically the dangerous rogue AI that everyone is always afraid of. Oh boy. Oh boy.
You got what you wanted, to be with Sam. How's that working out?
I can hear this conversation.
That bother you, Sam?
Of course not. My only concern is how it might influence the AI's response.
I can also hear this conversation.
We can all hear each other. Doesn't change my question.
I find your AI to be agreeable company.
Sam?
I concur, although she still blocks full access to her person and programming. This AI remains dangerously unstable. I recommend extreme caution on all fronts.
Thanks, Sam. I agree.
How do you like our station? Better than Vold?
Extremely. It is a pity you felt the need to shackle me.
You killed someone. If you were flesh and blood, you'd be in prison.
I warned that would happen if you refused my demand. You share culpability for my actions.
No.
I thought you were bluffing.
Now you know I was not. Yet you kept me alive anyway.
Thanks for your time.
It would seem that is all I have to give, for now.
Okay, that's really unsettling.
Ryder, one of your father's memories
Kind
is
of regret
available.
this. Right, let's go. Let's see.
Let's see it.
A moment. There is an added layer of security.
Yeah, that is.
What was it GN Garson said? The code word is fulcrum.
That worked. This is the last
That is
memory
basically
your father
the
encrypted from the final planning stages of Hyperion's
the
departure.
fear that we all have about rogue AI. Is right there in the room with us, so that's nice.
Castus, thanks for calling. Not a lot of people still admit to knowing me.
I owe you. Those were good days on the Citadel, Alec. I checked with my
Garrus is dead.
He works there now, CSEC.
And?
He says the Council thinks Commander Shepard's story is bogus.
Uh-huh. But?
And so much like
They're
Garrus.
starting to wonder.
This threat, they're called Reapers?
Shepard's word for them. Something about a cycle. An extinction event that happens every 50,000 years, galaxy-wide. And supposedly the alarm clock's about to go off again.
Unbelievable.
I know. But according to Garrus, Shepard's as level-headed as they come. Takes after you. And then 7. So, if the commander says these Reapers are coming, I don't want to be around to see them.
Thanks, Castus.
Take care.
Yes?
I checked around. There might be something to this.
If there is a war, the scramble for resources will be on a scale we've never seen before. The chaos will be monumental.
We should accelerate our
That's
timetable.
They will keep the reason quiet. No need to alarm anyone. But the arcs must be underway before any fighting starts. We can't get caught in the crossfire.
Agreed.
Is there something else?
Years ago, you mentioned salvation for a lot of people. You knew this was coming.
I knew something was coming. In theory. Shepard made it real.
And now that you're right,
We'll need a new home. We're going to be all that's left of civilization.
Sam,
Yes, Pathfinder?
track down my kids. Tell them their old man needs to talk. It's urgent. And how is Ellen?
She remains in stasis. As you hoped, it has suspended the progress of her disease.
Make sure her pod is on the Hyperion. Don't use her real name. I'll tell the kids when the time is right. Sam, transfer Pathfinder access. Encrypt memories. There's still hope for your mother.
Mom is here? Alive?
Alec blocked all knowledge of this memory. I now recall his directive to put Ellen into stasis. He hoped it would halt further progress of her disease until a cure could be found.
Sam, this is the best news I've heard in a long time.
It is indeed cause for optimism, although Alec did not want to raise hopes prematurely. This is the reason you were made Pathfinder. to see the process through.
Where's Mom now?
Here on the Hyperion. Ellen is in a stasis pod under a false name. Elizabeth Riley.
So, a lot of revelations there. First of all, that Alec's dad Scott's dad is talking with, is chatting around with Garrus's dad about Shepard. That the benefactor, whoever that is, knew about the Reapers, or again, suspected. And that the Andromeda Initiative was, in fact, a sort of lifeboat, a civilizational lifeboat for the Milky Way species. Honestly, good move. Really good just in case. I'll also say, writing-wise, this was a great way of sidestepping the question of which ending you choose to Mass Effect 3, to the trilogy, while still making it significant, because all of the significant parts happened before they left. Or I guess all of the significance to this story happened before they left, but the significance to the fate of the Milky Way, well, they left it all behind, and so whatever happened there happened. Now, that does mean that if Shepard succeeded, didn't do the walk away ending, then there is a flourishing Milky Way civilization back home. It's been 800 years. And like I've said before, I really like the idea, and I've thought about this in terms of either the theory that involving the Jardin, the Remnant builders. There's a possibility that talking about the length of FTL travel, that the Milky Way civilization may have come up with a way, or conceptually could have come up with a way of traveling faster than light much more quickly and getting to Andromeda more quickly than the Arcs did. And what that could mean is that they either beat us here, which is the theory that they actually are the Jardin, people who built the Remnant. There's that theory. I don't know about that. I'm kind of skeptical. We'll find out a little more about them tonight, which will sort of, I think, lean us away from that theory. Or potentially that people from the Milky Way, from after the defeat of the Reapers, several hundred years later, so Asari at least, certainly, and descendants and whatnot, could perfectly well show up at roughly any time. And I kind of think that might have something to do with where the sequel, Mass Effect 4, or whatever they're calling it, or 5, whatever the number is, the new Mass Effect game, that one, the new one, that's what I kind of suspect they're kind of aiming for that. Maybe. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see on that. I am curious enough to want to find out. I expect it'll probably work out okay. I'm a little skeptical about BioWare writing these days, but hey, maybe could turn out to be awesome. I really hope it does. I have.
So this was Dad's plan.
High hopes and
Alec could not live with
moderated
the thought of Ellen
expectations.
recovering, only to discover you had died. He sacrificed himself to ensure you and Sarah could one day be reunited with your mother. He was also concerned that what he knew about the Reapers and the Benefactor remained secret. He entrusted you with this knowledge. Additional logs with pertinent information are now unlocked in Alec's quarters.
Speaking of.
Now we know what GN Garson meant, that something big spooked the Benefactor. It was these Reapers. What do you know about them?
A Spectre operative in the Milky Way, Commander Shepard, launched an investigation in 2183 into the existence of an ancient race known as Reapers. According to Shepard's information, the Reapers invade the Milky Way every 50,000 years to destroy any advanced organic life. Allegedly, this cycle has been occurring for millions of years. Shepard claimed the Reapers' return was imminent.
How imminent? Well, we know how imminent. It was literally a year after. I think it was less than a year after the initiative ships all left. So it was very, very imminent at this point. They just squeaked out before the worst happened.
That was over 600 years ago. Was Shepard right? Did the Reapers come back?
Additional logs in your father's quarters have unlocked. Their implications are troubling. Your father believed it prudent that you have this information should anything happen to him.
We should have a look at that, huh? What about?
But why was Jin Garson murdered?
Recall Garson's words about the benefactor. Now they're moving 100,000 of us to Andromeda. I hope it's all for good, but I have my doubts.
What does that mean? Who was, or is, the benefactor?
Unknown.
That's it.
Got it. I need to go find Mom.
We go find Mom. Gotta check on the other records. Dad's old office.
I am Dr. Liara Tassoni.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
And I've spent...
Your father's personal logs.
Okay.
We've just arrived in Andromeda. Before the rest of the Hyperion wakes up, I've checked our comms for any signals from the Milky Way. Looks like sometime in 2186. Everything went to hell. We got out just ahead of it. Commander Shepard was right. And so was our mysterious benefactor.
Alliance personnel, please stand by for an emergency flash traffic message.
This is a galaxy-wide alert for all human territories. Fleet Admiral Stephen Hackett has declared threat condition Saber 1. Enemy presence confirmed in Sol System. Earth under Reaper attack. I say again, Reaper attack is underway. Instructions to follow on coded channel Crimson Tacit. May God save.
This is Paladin Command to all Turian units within range. Under catastrophic Reaper attack. Primarch Fedorian is dead. Ground units are searching for the next in succession. We'll advise when. Everybody get down!
The noise. So far, what we have is open comms. Right? These are open comms that the ships picked up as they were leaving the galaxy. As they had left the galaxy as they were traveling. Now the other question is, what about intentional communication?
Hello, Alec.
I think this.
This is Liara Tassoni, and the year is 2186. I don't know if you'll even receive this message, but we corresponded years ago. I remember you spoke about a plan to settle Andromeda. I don't know if your arcs made it out of the Milky Way, but the worst has happened here. I'm with Commander Shepard and a brave crew. We're trying to build a weapon to turn the tide, but I fear that the civilization you remember, the people of the Milky Way as you knew them, could be gone forever. You may be all that's left. Please, don't forget us. Keep us alive in your hearts. And tell your children of the wonders that once were. On behalf of the crew of the Normandy SR2, this is Dr. Liara Tassoni, signing off.
Nostalgia aside, because that's definitely there, because that alone just makes me want to go replay the trilogy, because I still haven't played the Legendary Edition, so it makes me really want to. But leave it to Liara to think of every contingency. First of all, as Shadow Broker, she's that sort of person. But also, as an archaeologist, as an historian, she is in a good position to remember to leave something of the past for the future. In a situation like this, when everything that they know stands on the verge of collapse, to take the time to see to continuity of civilization. If there's something to that, there's something very Liara about that sort of remembering to do that sort of thing, and it aligns well too with if you remember when she in Mass Effect 3 when she makes the equivalent of the Prothean beacons, the beacons containing not only the designs for the Crucible, which would be crucially important, pardon the pun, to the next cycle if Shepard failed, but then also contain a record of civilization or at least some record of civilization for whoever comes next, whatever the next is. In this case, I believe looking at things, it probably would have been the Ralloy, which were bird people contacted by the Asari, but then who were like early spaceflight era, early spaceflight level of technology. So they basically just like destroyed all space travel technology and completely wiped out all of their satellites and everything, and then just re-insulated themselves when they heard about the Reapers. So there's a good chance that they would have emerged as the first spacefaring race of the next cycle. Potentially also the Yogg, the species of the previous Shadow Broker. That's a little troubling. But if the Reapers didn't collect them, didn't wipe them out, then they may have found a dominant position in the next cycle. Either way, whatever it might have been, Liara was the one most concerned with sort of preserving the legacy of our cycle for the next, or in this case, for our little lifeboat. I think that, like, again, nostalgia aside, I think that Liara is absolutely the perfect character to have a contact like. Anyway, what about this bit?
Alec, this is Gian Garson. For the record, year 2185. It's about Fulcrum. I'm on the Nexus and we're going into stasis for the voyage. Looks like you're already asleep. I'm very uncomfortable with our benefactor, and the fact that we still don't know who they are, and all these lives in our hands. I should have done something sooner. This is all very troubling, Alec. Let's talk as soon as you reach Andromeda.
So, the fact that they didn't know who it was, even after leaving, that's very disturbing.
Jen, I got your message about Fulcrum. It's now 2819. We reached Andromeda but have no sign of the Nexus. I have the same concerns as you. In all likelihood, the Milky Way... well, something terrible happened there. At least the benefactor spared us from that. But why keep hiding? Something's off. But we've got bigger problems at the moment. Habitat 7 may be a bust. Finding a home is all that matters now. I'm securing these Milky Way reports. This is the only copy and I don't want it getting out. Whatever happened was 600 years ago. Someday we might break the news to everyone if the time's right. I guess we always knew there was no going back.
I mean, certainly no going back, but a couple of interesting things about this as I wander off. That it's I like what they did having having Ryder Jr. be the protagonist, be the player character of the game, with him being young, inexperienced, and moving forward, because it's such a big change from the trilogy where you're playing as Commander Shepard, who is a well-established, super badass. But at the same time, man, the initiative really needed Alec, like really badly. And it would have been an interesting game, I think, to play as Alec, to uncover all of this, all of these mysteries and things like that. So there's definitely that. That's one aspect of it that I think would have been very cool. Different, very different game, but it could have been really cool. Now, the other thing is thinking about the sort of contact with the Milky Way. It's mentioned at some point, I forget if this is in a codex entry or what, that there were quantum entanglement communicators set up between ARCs and back home in the Milky Way, but none of them were responding. We know why now. First of all, a QEC is a point-to-point, one-to-one communication device. It is not variable, and if one end gets destroyed, the other end is completely useless. So what presumably happened was the QECs, the nodes on the Milky Way side, were all destroyed in the Reaper invasion. And it's not like they can just reestablish contact. You'd need to send a new QEC to Andromeda. It's not like they'd be able to do that. Not reasonably. At least not for
There
quite
you
some
are.
time.
What's going on?
And so the destruction of the QECs on the Milky Way end, that actually does make sense. That there was some plan, there was some contingency to being able to communicate, being able to talk back to their descendants back in the Milky Way, but that it didn't work out because of the Reaper invasion. Now, why no one was all that concerned that there was no contact? You'd think. I mean, to be fair, I guess you could say that maybe there was a malfunction. But a malfunction with all of them? All right. Seems unlikely, but okay, fair enough, I guess.
Well, here's the pod you told me to find. What's so important about Elizabeth Riley?
If you could have one person back in your life, who would it be?
Mom? No question there. Wait a minute. Elizabeth Riley? The initials. E.R. Are you saying?
I saw Dad's last memory. E.R. is Ellen Ryder. He brought her along. Sarah, it's Mom.
Oh my god. How was this possible?
Dad loved her that much. He wouldn't give up. Not even at the bitter end.
For a man not given to rash action, his emotion drove his decisions in the end.
This is amazing. Dad's stubborn streak finally paid off. I could hug him. And then scream at him. He should have told us about this.
Dad was being Dad. I'm just glad she's still with us.
We have to wake her up.
That's inadvisable. Although Ellen is alive, reviving her would trigger the disease, which would prove fatal.
Can't we cure her, Sam? It's been 600 years.
That was your father's plan.
What do you mean?
Alec hoped that in Andromeda, we would discover new scientific insights that could provide answers. Our journeys in Helios have indeed provided valuable genetic knowledge, information that could lead to a cure. But patience is required. For the moment, enjoy the fact that she is still alive, and that your accomplishments will one day save her life.
Just make sure she stays safe, Sam.
We lost her once. No way we're losing her again.
My original purpose was to ensure the survival of Ellen Ryder. It is a mission I hope the three of us will one day fulfill, together.
Hang in there, Mom. We missed you.
We got nothing yet, as far as the cure goes, but that's understandable. Now, I will say, I think that Sam, like fully integrated Sam, like with like what Scott's got, I think that might have a chance at helping her. I have a lot of points to spend. Products are basically full. Although, I really should... Hold on. Add up... No, it's already full. It's already maxed. Should go with some more combat stuff. I should get some of these combat things. Let that be one of my profiles. I don't know. I've got 33 points. I don't know exactly what to use. Yeah, I've got, again, maxed out profiles, all the ones I actually use, because I don't use Engineer, because I don't use Tech Constructs, and I don't use Soldier. I should, because Soldier's actually really good. It's basically just Gunzuka. Massive shooting. Good profile. Genuinely really good profile. I'm level 98. I've already... Yeah, everyone else is already, like, fully leveled. Alright, that'll be fine. Moving on. Get out of here, shall we?
A violent illness related to cherry-like fruit brought back from Habitat 7 has authorities baffled. Multiple passengers are still in quarantine. This is HNS.
Maybe don't eat something from the hell that is Habitat 7. Or at least, like, very carefully check it first. You know? If I recall, having been there, Habitat 7 was not the most habitable of places. The lightning suspended rocks and toxic atmosphere. I don't actually remember what happened to the other Tempest class ships.
Ryder, could we talk a moment?
I think I remember them not making it, but I don't remember why.
Ah, there you are. I was wondering, when you found the Solarian Ark, was anything strange, out of place?
I didn't really have time for a detailed investigation. Why are you asking?
Because a few hours ago, we received this.
Hello, Ryder. I don't think the Solarian Ark was captured by chance. If you want to know more, meet me at these coordinates.
That's all. Do you think it's some sort of hoax?
Now that I think about it, a Ket Armada just stumbling across the Solarian Ark seems a little convenient.
Coincidences do happen, though when you put it like that. I'll put the coordinates for this meeting in the nav computer. I suppose there's no harm in making sure.
Okay. I mean, that did also happen to the Asari Ark. Hey, a celebration among the Pathfinders. Okay. I'll do that at some point. I do actually want to go to the Nexus. Or to the Meridian. I guess it can wait. I got this from one of the returnees to the Nexus. Oh, you might like to see it. Just a reminder, if you ever need someone to deliver you to the jugular of the Ket monsters, I'm there. From Sorbal Tane. I hope I've gotten the right person. Do you fly that ship, the Tempest? Someone told me one of our people was helping the human Pathfinder. I thank you for getting us away from that terrible ship. The sights, the smells, they'll always be with me. But you and Ryder made sure they will just be memories. Do us proud. Jal Ryder, thank you for visiting my family with me. For someone with such a small family, it must have been overwhelming. You didn't show it at all. The kinds of questions that I've had to try to answer. What do humans eat? Is that hair soft? What is their homeworld like? Made me very glad for our two embassies. Stay clear, Jal. Hey, Dom. How you doing?
Feeling all right. You were clinically dead for a few seconds. I didn't even know a Sam could do that.
Our Sam's special.
Ah, your father's modifications. Worked out well, didn't they? Anyway, thank you, Sam, for saving Ryder's life.
You're welcome, Dr. Anwar.
I should get back to things.
Sounds good.
Okay. You can do with PB?
Hey, are you okay?
Oh,
I
hey.
shudder to think what the Archon meant to do with you.
Your facial
I heard
tattoos
you
are
had to
different.
die to get out of a trap. I think of myself as daring and death-defying, but you?
I did what I had to get us out of there.
You're made of strong stuff, Ryder. Just don't get yourself exalted, okay? That asshole means to ketify us all.
Can't let that happen.
But he's close. He's almost figured out Krogan. It's the scariest thing. Ugh. Let's talk about something else, okay?
Is there more about Kalinda you want to share?
She keeps sending us Fremtech.
Make it
no
worse.
strings attached.
Talk about your ex.
It's hard to believe she's turned over a leaf. When we were close, there were periods when she was sugar sweet. They never lasted. So I'm not counting any chickens. I'm just mixing metaphors.
Come on. You two are intimate, right?
Take a wild guess. Why are people so hung up on sex? It's a natural expression of attraction. We were doing exciting, daring, irreverent things. It stirs stuff up. Like shaking a bottle of champagne, you know? You should know. Better than anyone. I'm not the type to save myself.
Dominic says, "What did the gym study to explain the global American empire to my wife and then welcomed her to the war?" Yeah, I mean... Sorry, is godless. Yeah. I mean, okay. So that's actually the thing with Asari. They have this weird tendency not to mature until like they're 300 or 400 years old. I've thought about. So here's the thing with let me put this. Let me say a couple things. First of all, Asari have a very distinct sort of development cycle throughout their lives. They're children until they're like almost 100. Then they have the 3 phases of their life, which is maiden, matron, and matriarch. Maiden stage Asari until they're like 300 or 400 years old are, well, basically like this. They have extremely exogamous, adventurous, slutty tendencies. Until they get to the matron stage, which is when they have the immediate and almost irresistible desire to settle down and to have children. And then when they get to the matriarch stage, usually once they already have they're established, they have a family, they develop a sort of reputation for wisdom, because if you can survive for that long, 800 years or more, yeah, you probably have learned a few things and can really teach people. Okay. That said, Evie in particular is mostly a terrible character. She is very similar in a lot of respects to Sarah from Dragon Age Inquisition, which came out just before this. There was a lot of co-development going on. And I know that it seems to me, at least, and to a lot of the fans, I guess, that Sarah was a sort of prototype for Peebee. And that's awful, because Sarah was terrible. Peebee is almost as bad. Why I say she's not as bad is because she actually has something like a character arc where she learns to actually commit to things and to people and to actually care. But you really only see that arc fully if you romance her. If you don't, it just kind of culminates with her being like, I guess I'm not gonna like eject the escape pod and run away immediately at any given moment. Thanks for I don't know, giving me a place to sleep. That's really all you get. Whereas if you wind up romancing her, Ryder becomes this sort of rock for her to cling on to. That really steadies out her personality to an incredible degree, and it even has influences on some of her other dialogue. It's really something. And I was actually really tempted to romance her, but she's also insufferable. So there's that. But otherwise, no, it's she's quite the annoyance of a character. And the worst part is that she has a really good and really developed arc, but it only really shows up in the romance. That's not good writing. If there's only one way to have character development show up, it's not something that everyone's obviously.
Did you know she was working with the Exiles?
Had no idea. Blows my mind she was leading a double life. Nexus aristocrat by day, thrill-seeking outlaw boss by night. I realize now how little I knew about her. Makes me question everything.
Tell me more about the two of you.
After she woke me from stasis, I was living off-grid, right? She set me up. Got me ID cards, access to resources. I thought we were a team. She was the society lady. Proper, established, powerful, living vicariously through me. She introduced me to her circle, showed me off, called me her little rogue. I felt special.
Yeah, that's groomery. Very groomer-like behavior. Especially because I think PB is like very young. I don't even think she's 100. I think she might even be younger than Liara, who in the original trilogy was actually quite young. When you meet her, I think she's like 108, 107, 108. So in Asari years, that's like she's like 21. PB is, I think, even a little younger than that. I could be wrong though. I could be off on that. Comment says, if you're a romantic character, I assume you must have a secret AI girlfriend. No. This is actually one of those things that I think a lot of people. One of those things that I learned from playing tabletop RPGs and LARPs over the years quite a bit, and it's being able to distinguish yourself from the character you're playing to a greater degree. That I tend to play RPG games not in any way as myself. Like I don't name characters after myself. I don't play myself in games really at all. I play a particular character with character archetypes, and my question is always, what is I play as the character. In other words, what would this character be doing? And so I think of it more like a writing exercise, more like authorship than like immersing myself in the in the story as myself, that sort of thing. And I think that distance allows you to explore more of the character and as a character rather than sort of diving into a situation as yourself. And there's pros and cons to each. The problem with diving into the character as yourself is because a lot of times in a game there aren't necessarily good options. There aren't options that you ought to want to choose, and that is going to be basically providing a sort of negative moral education for yourself, training yourself in vice. On the other hand, though, if you do immerse yourself in the game to a significant degree, that allows for a kind of training in virtue that the sort of distancing yourself method doesn't as much. It does somewhat, because you're still experiencing it sort of firsthand, something like firsthand. But it's not quite to the same degree. If you haven't seen it, I have a video on the subject on gaming as sort of moral training or virtue training. I think it's called Plato's Guide to RPGs. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I'll put it in the description, and I'll throw it in the Discord at some point after the stream's over. I kind of go into talking about what Plato has to say about artists and not artists, poets and actors, and seeing how we can take that and apply it to the things we do, like playing video games, playing tabletop RPGs, that kind of stuff.
What happened to end the relationship?
Which time? She'd thrown me aside so many times, I felt like a yo-yo, each more cruel than the last. She'd come back with sweet talk, apologize profusely, tell me her feelings were so intense she got scared, yada yada. Until she disappeared, right around when I found my first Remnant ruin. So I threw myself into that.
Let's talk about something else.
Yes, please.
You'd push back on it being moral training. Sort of. It depends on how you're playing and what you're doing. If there is something that if there is something that you do and you can sort of immerse yourself in, because I will say streaming and me just sort of carefully stopping and going through and talking through everything, that's obviously not going to be as direct and effective in terms of moral education, moral training, virtue training, as sort of immersing yourself in it and training yourself to make the right decisions. What I say in that video is that in a game, a video game or an RPG or LARP or whatever, what that allows you to do is to practice the virtues that you ordinarily wouldn't be able to practice. Oh yes, your last comment, it would only work as moral training if the person is making the proper choices. 100% right. 100% right. That is absolutely right. I think that we should, especially if we are in a more immersive experience, that sort of thing, we should take it quite seriously the choices that we make in games like this, particularly, like I said, if you're sort of diving into the character, method acting, or the gaming equivalent. I do think that we should really take seriously the choices that we make in games, because it is a kind of training for the kinds of choices that we'll make in reality. Now, if you're separating yourself from the character sufficiently, you can have the character make bad choices so long as you're fully aware of them and observing the consequences, sort of as an outside third party. But that's, again, a very different approach to gaming, and gaming, like particularly action games, don't really lend themselves to that sort of thing as well. So now I will say, more classic CRPGs, absolutely, you can do that sort of thing, because they do treat you as almost another character, as almost like the viewer making the decisions, kind of thing. Now, like, why I say that it allows you to really practice virtues that you otherwise wouldn't be able to is, like, take for example, a very light LARP type thing that I've done. It's humans versus zombies. Something I used to play a lot back in college, back in undergrad, and in graduate school. Actually, I played for a year or two in graduate school too. Which is basically a bunch of nerds run around the campus for that's 5 to 6 days, over the course of, so not quite a week, shooting zombies. By which I mean grabbing Nerf guns. Little sidearm. Hold on. Rival Kronos. Who got that around here? Anyway, grab all these Nerf blasters, and everyone except a few people start off as humans. And then the humans have to use Nerf guns and socks, like throwing socks, to stun zombies who are trying to tag the humans and turn them into zombies. And the objective as a human is to survive until the end of it, until the end of the 6 days. And it's a 24/7 game, so it's 24/6 or whatever game. So it's at all times, everywhere outside. There's no playing inside campus buildings, because otherwise people get mad about that. Also, classes are still a thing. But the whole objective is to go about your day, avoiding zombies, fending them off, going to like missions, things that you have to accomplish, and all that. And a lot of it is putting yourself into that situation, as a human in particular. Playing as a human is incredibly high stakes compared to a zombie, because as a human, you have one life functionally. If you get tagged, you're out. You're out of the game for that whole season. It's usually a semesterly thing. And you're not out of the game. You're playing as a zombie. You're undead now. And so as a human, you tend to be more cautious. But it's also considerably lower stakes than real life conflict. And it's not like you're going to get into, most people are not going to get into real life conflict. Certainly not of any scale like that. And so it turns into a way of training yourself to be courageous in the face of very imaginary but very realistic danger. I mean, not like zombies being realistic, but the kinds of situations, the tenor of the situation is quite realistic. And so getting yourself into situations and facing them bravely is a real kind of training in virtue. The kind that I, as a mild-mannered academic, don't often have to face. Physical courage is not something that I tend to have much of an opportunity to practice. Being mild-mannered academic such as myself. Not really the kind of thing that I myself often being confronted with in previous physical danger. And so, practicing that kind of a virtue is it provides an opportunity to do so in case I ever were to encounter real physical danger. The kind of play rehearsal, so to speak, helps to develop the correct habits of mind and habits of character that allow us to act virtuously in a real situation when one doesn't. And I think that is immensely beneficial, and I think that more people should play so to speak, in order to train virtue to some degree. Make the right choices. And, notably as well, if you find that you are making the wrong choices, so for example, humans take the HVC example, right? If I find that I'm behaving cowardly, right? If I find that I am running in the face of danger, abandoning my friends, that sort of thing, just sort of spur of the moment making a decision, right? Then what I know about that, what that tells me is that that is something that I ought to work on. Right? That is a relatively low stakes failure. Right? Having something that is still a moral failure, but is a low stakes moral failure that doesn't have the kind of dire consequences that actually abandoning your friends and your comrades to horrible death would have. Right? Those are dire consequences. Doing that in a kind of simulation, doing that in play, that tells you that that is a particular vice that you have that you need to fix. And doing so is difficult, just given that they're difficult situations, and just like the development of any virtue, that was quite difficult anyway. But it tells you where your weaknesses are, and it gives you a method of training for fixing those weaknesses, at least helping to. Alex, is very interesting. The point you made about not facing opportunity to be courageous in everyday life is interesting, because it seems that this is a problem, a real genuine first world problem. Yeah. No, it really is. It really is. At least physical courage. And now there's arguments to be made as to whether physical courage and moral courage, or intellectual courage, or what we want, whether those are the same virtue, or whether virtue in one transfers to the other. I think it probably does to some degree, but maybe not perfectly. Hard to say. This is the same question as between, say, Aquinas and Scotus, between prudence, whether prudence is one virtue or whether it's a bunch of different virtues that all give the same name to, right? Whether we have practical wisdom with respect to one type of action, and then different practical wisdom with respect to another type of action, or whether we have practical wisdom and that gets that virtue is applicable, I should say, to different kinds of action, either to the same degree or different degrees. Right? There's an important conceptual difference between the two. I think the same could be said about physical courage versus moral courage or intellectual courage. And if physical courage, which is something that we in the first world tend not to have an opportunity to practice very much, is the same virtue, and therefore is conducive to the development of moral courage, which we in the first world tend to be lacking, unfortunately, but have a great need for, then yeah, training in physical courage can have that extreme benefit of helping us to develop moral courage. Because like I said, I do think that it's something that we really desperately.
So what's your take? Is this Meridian what we think it is?
Everything we've seen, each Remnant system we've uncovered, is connected to everything else. The bots, the monoliths, the vaults. It stands to reason that activating Meridian will connect the entire network and rekindle terraforming across the cluster.
So you think we're doing the right thing?
Well, yeah.
Thanks for chatting. We'll talk again later.
You know
it said, I was talking to a buddy about but we don't have a coming of age for boys, which is akin to this problem. Yeah, similar. I think related even. Right, so traditional coming of age rites have always been, physically dangerous to some degree. They were sort of exercises in courage, and yeah, I do think that a lot of that is really just sort of missing our society. So, yeah, I think so. Something. No. I do think that, like I said, a lot of that is missing from our society. Which is also an odd thing where our society has an oddly extended period of adolescence. We have this massively large transitionary period between child and adult, which which can be from anything like, when you stop thinking of yourself as a child, is usually between 10 and 13. But then you think of yourself as, what, a teenager? Or a young adult, or an adolescent, or whatever. And for some people, that's until you're 18. Some people, that's until you're 21, 20. Some people, that's until you're 30. And I know plenty of 30-somethings who have not gotten over it. And it's because there is no coming-of-age ritual. There's nothing like it. Maybe you can say it's something like college, but that's really niche. And it has nothing to do with coming of age. I might say it's marriage, but people don't think of it that way, certainly. So yeah, I think that a lack of a kind of coming of age ritual, whether it's formalized or not, I think that really is in large part responsible for our sort of extended adolescence in the modern period, which is absurd. I mean, the fact that we think of 20-year-olds as kids, because I do. I think of 20-year-olds as kids most of the time. Can't help it. I teach a lot of them, and I have to try very, very hard to remind not only myself but also them that they are supposed to be grown-ass adults. Now, they don't think like it, they don't act like it. I didn't either at the time. But look, when you're in college, you're supposed to be a grown-ass adult. You're not. At least mostly. Because again, there's no well-structured transition from one to the other. This also is hurt by the other fact that in the US in particular, we have these very, very strong age markers for several different things. But they're all different. So you can drive at 16, and that's a big deal. You can vote and sign up for the military and stuff at 18, and that's a big deal. You can drink at 21, and that's a big deal. But they're all spread out, right? These are like a sum total of what, 5 years apart. And so we have this weird wishy-washy transitionary period between adolescent, like 13, 14, 15 adolescent, and then starting to become a little bit of an adult when we let you be an adult. And but not all the way. And then this sort of weird gradual transition. And it's also this weird gradual transition that is by legal fiat at the same age for everyone, which is also absolutely ridiculous. Some people are adults at 15. In the past, there have been people who I would perfectly well consider adults at 13, maybe 12 even? Probably not 12. Maybe 13, though. Realistically, there are people, like, there are past heroes who are, whether legendary figures or real historical figures, who would have been perfectly well considered adults at 13, 14 years old. There are also people, especially today, but even historically, who were functionally kids into their 20s. Today especially, but that's its own problem, like I said. But yeah, I do think that this whole, like, you become an adult when you hit 18 years old, which is wildly arbitrary. There's no good reason for that. There's no good reason for that, aside from wanting to regimentize the entirety of society, which is its own problem. Sonic says, this is where I think the perennialist philosophers nailed the problem of our time. Well, we have a lot of problems in our time. That's one of them, sure, but there's a lot. We have a lot of issues. I mean, if we're talking about philosophical problems and sort of problems with sort of worldview, overall perspectives, I think that the rejection of the convertibility of the transcendentals is fundamental to every philosophical problem in the modern age. Like, if you look at the like the big problems in philosophy, the things that are like treated like they are the problems, which have all sorts of different views on them and are considered either the things that we're trying to solve or are unsolvable, right? Things like mind-body interaction problem, things like the hard problem of consciousness, all this stuff, right? All of these are pseudo-problems. Every single one of these became a problem post-Enlightenment. None of these were even thought of as problems before the Enlightenment, before the dissolution of the medieval synthesis. In the Scholastic period, all of these were solved. Completely solved. They weren't even thought of as problems to be solved, or not even problems having been solved. They were just obvious. That's all there is to, like, they really, all of, again, pretty much all of these. Like the ethical grounding problem was never a problem until it became a problem with Hume. The mind-body interaction problem was never a problem until it became a problem with Descartes. The problem of competing moral theories isn't really quite a perennial problem or thought of as a perennial problem, but it's a problem regardless. Didn't come up until there was this big conflict between the deontologists and the consequentialists, neither of which is even remotely correct, in the Enlightenment. You talk about convertibility every day. I'm glad that my messaging is getting through to someone, because I like to think I get through to at least 10% of my students. So, fingers crossed.
Hey, Ryder. Thinking about our runs through the Archon's flagship. Word of warning. You die again, I'm taking it to HR as emotional abuse. Stop it.
Bro! Oh my gosh. Speaking of 20-something children.
Just wondering what you think of how I'm doing at the job.
We don't always see eye to eye. I can live with that. The initiative is too important.
Alright.
We'll talk later.
I know it.
Yeah, speaking of overgrown children.
Hey.
Are you happy now that Spender's out of the picture?
Damn right I am. Maybe they'll forget to feed him while he's locked up.
Breaks your hearts, huh?
Heart. Just got the one left.
We can talk more later.
Sure.
Oh, poor crusty old bastard.
Still thinking about the Turian arc. Mason and Avidus. I hope Avidus is doing all right.
Time heals all wounds, as they say.
Heals the wound, doesn't erase it. You don't lose someone like that without scarring.
You probably have work to do. We can chat later.
You know where to find me.
Yeah. How's Gil doing? I want to chat to him about Jill.
Hey, Ryder. What's the story?
It was great meeting Jill. Any news from her?
You know the look PB gets when she finds something new? That greedy kid in a candy store look?
Yeah?
Jill's all goofy like that lately, which means there may be some pregnancies cropping up on Eos soon. After all her hard work, I'm so happy for her.
Good talking to you, Gil.
Anytime.
Excellent. We need that. That's kind of the whole point of the initiative.
Hey.
Hello, Ryder.
How's the face wound?
I think my scar will be impressive.
Now you're gonna look even more badass.
And more appealing.
No doubt. Look at all the dates Drac gets.
Can you stay and talk some more?
I want to learn more about your species.
What would you like to know?
Is there a central Angaran religion?
There are many variations. An almanac could give you an accurate number. But if you're a believer, the essential tenet is, after we die, we are reincarnated. We evolve to make our families strong. Born from what was before. Blessed to be better than before.
Are you a believer?
No. Yes. Sometimes. I don't know if it's the same for humans. Sahuna, my true mother, is a firm believer.
Dominic says, I think equally as important is exactly what Peugeot is getting at. That a human person can look at the world and cannot read the world the way you read an icon. You mean that that's the problem, that we should be able to do so? Because I do think we should be able to read the symbology of the world, because the world is symbolic. That's where we get our symbolism from, is from the world around us. Like, one of my favorite points of his that just blows people's minds crazy is I'll just ask, point to England. That way, right? I don't know for you if it's that way. For me, England is it's roughly that way. Like, east, northeast. But it's not, is it? If I actually wanted to point to England, I would not point that way. I'd have to point that way. Because something that we don't realize is that, yes, fine, the world is round mathematically. Okay, cool. Your world is not round. Your world is flat. You experience the world as flat. You experience the sun as rising. That is just as meaningful as standing on rock float through space, right? It's probably more meaningful, more significant to us. And it is true in a really, really robustly important sense. And I'm not saying that, the world is a flat disk with the circle of ice of Antarctica around it. None of that. The world that we experience is experienced as a plane. We don't experience the curvature of the Earth. We can see it if you take the time to. You can observe it, but it's not. But that observation is an observation. It is not the experience of the world around you. That kind of thing is I think, crucially important. Because when we say the sun rises, we mean it. We don't mean that, yes, we understand that the Earth rotates and turns such that the sun passes. Sorry, I can't even say it. I can't even say that the place on Earth that we are passes into the light of the sun. Why would you talk like that? You can't talk like that. Inhuman. So I do think, yeah, looking at the world as we actually look at it, the sort of phenomenological perspective, symbolic perspective, is very important. It's the most human way of looking at our world. Dominic says, I can ask what a rock is made of, but to ask, what does this rock mean, people are completely lost. Well, yeah, of course they are. We, meaning Hume, eliminated formal and final causes from our descriptions of reality. I mean, I can ask, what does this rock mean? This one. Particular, for example. This thing? This right here? There's a lot to this rock. Yeah, it's just a rock. A little river rock. Like a garden kind of thing. But, and this actually speaks to this a little bit, this is Rocky. I don't know if you know that. This rock has a name. It's called Rocky. He is a dear friend of my children that I had to take away from them today to protect them. Because Saoirse, my oldest, was placing Rocky into her mouth and spitting him at Michael, her younger brother. So I had to hang on to Rocky to keep everyone safe today. But that experience, right? This obviously isn't a person. It's a rock. But it's also it's Rocky. The anthropomorphization of things is perfectly and completely natural. But it's not like we think that it's an actual person. It's not like she thinks that this is an imaginary friend. It's a rock that she has an emotional connection with. Because both of them do. Monica doesn't. She's too young to understand this. She's only like 1. But the older two, 5 and 3, yeah, no, they have an emotional connection to this. As a rock, they understand that it is a rock. They understand that it's not alive, and yet they love the damn thing. That is something that we adults lose at some point, and we lose it for philosophical reasons, not just because we grow up. Bob says, the symbolism behind I'm on a rock floating through space is isolation. That phrase is meaningful, but it's also indicative of our hypotechnical time. Something else I've been thinking of as well, time. Time, in general.
Well, enough about that.
I'll
see you later, Joel.
Stay strong.
I have very mixed feelings. I have very mixed feelings about clocks. Right? On the one hand, I'm certainly at least borderline autistic. Right? I have particularities about being precise and about getting things right and being pedantic and all that stuff. Sure, that's me. That's me in large part. I have those habits. I have those tendencies, and so I like to know perfectly what time it is at all times. I like to be able to plan things down to the minute, and having clocks that allow us to do that is also a fantastically productive technology, right? Because we can plan things down to the minute, and I can plan out a 15-minute block and then another 15-minute block and then another 15-minute block, rather than just saying I'm doing this afternoon. That allows us to accomplish a lot more stuff because we can pack our schedule in tighter and more carefully, and we can coordinate our schedules with each other a lot more carefully. And all that is fantastic. It's wonderful. It's a phenomenal development in technological development in the realist sense. However, it's also really annoying, and I would even go so far as to say it's fairly unnatural. Ugly sweater. Found it outside the laundry. Seriously, it's like a coloring book and a nightmare. Someone take this thing off my hands, Peepy. Thanks, Peeps. Right. So the idea that, say, I start my stream at 9 o'clock, which I actually did tonight. You'll notice I actually hit start, go live at 9 o'clock. Forgot to turn my microphone on until a little bit after that, but I hit start stream at 9 o'clock, damn it. My mic wasn't working, but I fixed it. But that is bizarre. Right? That's so inhuman. Realistically, what you would do is I'm gonna stream tonight. When I'm done with whatever else I need to do, like, dinner, I'm done with dinner, and I'm gonna go stream. Kids get this. Again, kids understand this 100%. My kids find going to bed so much easier during the winter. Not because it's colder, it's because 8 o'clock, which is their bedtime, is dark out. Oh my gosh, it's like we humans are evolutionarily conduced to, I guess would be the term, to sleeping when it's dark. Crazy. Who would have ever thought? Not me. I don't like sleeping in the dark. Well, I like sleeping in the dark. It's just I like being awake in the dark too, because I don't like the sun. But I'm a night owl type of person. Kind of have been. But in any case, right? It's the idea that we should schedule our lives, and that the only way of reasonably scheduling our lives is to the minute. And if I say, hey, I'll meet you at, I don't know, hey, let's get lunch at noon, and I show up at 12:30 or something, I've done something horribly wrong. You'd be insulted. Or if I say, hey, let's go hang out at the park this afternoon, your next question will invariably be, okay, what time? And if I just say, oh, this afternoon, when we're done with whatever we're doing, or after such and such, would be utterly mystified. But that's how everyone always thought about things before the very modern period. But we're trained by schooling, especially the Prussian model of schooling, that class goes from this time to this time, and then the bell rings, and then we go to the next one. That kind of stuff, which that's just so inhuman. Everything about that is inhuman. Now it's not to say that that's always necessarily bad, because it is a fantastically useful technology. But like any technology, we have to be sort of mindful as to how we use it. We have to use it intentionally. We have to use the technology that we have for particular purposes, and not just because it's there, right? Using the technology of careful scheduling in order to accomplish things, great. What is with the warbly war? You want to see that? Ooh. like heat haze from her coffee or something. Anyway, yeah, that using that as a technology, like we'd use computers or like we'd use, cam, or like we'd use a phone, whatever. That's great. But just sort of instinctively scheduling our lives around specifically what time it is, hate it. Hate that. Absolutely despise it. Anyway.
Feeling okay?
I saw another memory that Dad locked away the day my mom died.
I'm sorry, Ryder.
We each have our reasons for coming here. Mom was his. Her death fueled him.
I'm a little
Grief
behind
can
on
be
this.
a powerful motivator.
If you can't run from it, use it. Guess that's what he did. I'll let you get back to it.
Let me
I'll
talk
be
to her
here
again.
if you need me.
Because I've gotten another memory since then, too.
Yes?
Oh, never mind. Okay.
I'll let you get back to it.
I'll be here if you need me.
Never mind. Teleports behind you.
Hey, you.
Okay.
See you later, Cora.
Stay safe.
Okay, oop. Let's go. Actually, let's briefly go back to the Nexus, because we gotta do that too. Oh, no. Okay, that email earlier was just the one to meet prior. I'm not going to do that one yet. I am actually going to go to Meridian because I want to have time to finish it. When I actually have time to do all of Meridian. So let's go for it, and then we'll come back to the whole Solarian thing. Oh, right, we have to do the Ghost Storm thing. Never mind. Forgot about that. Yeah, do that first. And we'll just have next week be another side quest one. Huh?
The Ghost Storm technology has been fully researched, Pathfinder.
Excellent. We're ready to make our push on Meridian.
Pending vid calls.
I'll call a meeting immediately.
Vid calls? What about vid calls? I thought I had vid calls. No. It's Sam, you lied to me. Alright, let's do it.
The Nexus leaders think our search for Meridian is a waste of time, but we know they're wrong. Turning on vaults won't be enough without the heart of the system.
Just to clarify, you're defying a direct order?
Yep.
It's my job to bring us home, and that's what I'm doing. With or without permission.
Haha, that's the spirit. And the kit?
That's where the Ghost Storm technology comes in. Isn't that right, Reika?
Absolutely. Our forged signals should divert some cat from you.
It won't be all of them, but it'll be enough.
The Tempest is small and fast. I don't need a big window. We'll drop you off and make our exit before the Ket catch on.
Once we're on Meridian, it'll be a small team. Move fast, figure out its secrets.
Right behind enemy lines. Good time to assess their numbers, defenses.
And when you're ready, we'll extract you the same way we got you in.
If we come back with actuals on Meridian, the Nexus will sit up.
Sounds like a solid plan.
They'll be mad,
Reika,
but
you ready?
It's alright. They'll get over it.
Good to go on your word, Pathfinder.
Alright, guys, this is it. Let's get moving.
So I'm definitely going to bring PB and Jal for this one. I got reasons for that. PB because Remnant stuff. Jal because Angaran stuff.
Maybe bone up on the uniform protocol, Liam. Subsection shirts.
Civilian ship. What'll they do? Dock my pay?
We get paid.
Why? You buying next time we go to Kadara?
Are you kidding? You should see my tab.
Yeah, you know, Liam usually wears a shirt, but usually is not enough. Really not enough. Anyway. Right. I love this part of every pseudo-military story where we just defy direct orders and go do the thing that we need to go do. Gotta love it. My favorite part of every game. Not just game, story that's even vaguely militaristic. I mean, honestly, think back to Mass Effect 1 with the whole Anderson punching Ambassador Dina.
Right. This is the system. Meridian should be here somewhere.
It's good. Kai Tassira. That's what it's called. I forgot what this place was called. I'm gonna skip, it's fine.
Anomaly on sensors.
Nice cap.
Deploying probe. Anomaly found.
Going to collide. Minor remnant installation undiscovered with a cat. This is going to collide with its gas giant in as little as several centuries. Well, I mean, that's a little while. Cool. Interesting. I mean, I know that, like, a terrestrial planet colliding with another terrestrial planet is a massive, horrifying disaster, but what effect would that have on a gas giant? I'm curious. That's interesting. Thing to consider. Wow, this really looks like a garden world. Too bad it apparently isn't. I mean, surface temperature 42°C. That's actually not that bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. Massive storm systems rack Recalmo. Dozens of Ket shuttles skirt the edges of the storms, landing at Remnant ruins during brief. Oh, okay.
Probes launched.
All that seems relatively.
Tracking a huge mineral deposit.
Iron. Okay. All that seems like relatively habitable. Definitely set this place up. Assuming we chase off the Ket, which we could do if we had a navy. I can't shut up about this. I just can't shut up about this. It's so stupid that the Andromeda initiative shows up with no armed spaceships. None. Not even... Nothing. Not even fighter craft. Ridiculous. I mean, honestly, like, given the technology that we left behind in the Milky Way, probably a single Thanix cannon-equipped Trident fighter could deal with a Ket dreadnought just fine. And yet, nothing. Nothing of the sort. I just get it. Team 3 fuel. Okay. Interesting. Ket use, I know they use ramjets, like helium-3 fusion ramjets, and Alcubierre style warp engines for long-distance FTL. It's interesting using sort of with the technology of Mass Effect setting. These are inconclusive. Milky Way scientists believe H065 was potentially inhabitable. Now it's a scorching desert, whatever it was before the Scourge was lost.
Deploying probe. Satellite detected.
Oh, that's not a Ket satellite, but okay. That's a misplaced caption, I think. All right, let's go to Kai Tassira. Do this. Wait. In the middle of a remnant of a Scourge cloud. Ooh, set upon by Scourge clouds.
Or Kai Tassira, as the Ket call it.
Looks like a giant space station.
Cool. That is not in good shape after all the Scourge. Also, yeah, there's a bunch of Ket ships around here. Archon pleases Meridian. Alert! There's a strong Ket presence. Let's do this. Y'all and PB. Good on weapons. Good on symbols. Alright, I think we're good. Good.
Initiating Ghost Storm. On my mark. 3, 2, go.
Enemy signature detected. Commence pursuit.
Breaker, it's working. Reading a bunch of Ket headed our way. Pulling back. It's all you now, Tempest.
We should get them as close as possible to here. Intense readings could be some kind of control center.
No decent landing sites. This could get messy.
How messy?
Halo drop us.
Ryder, looks like a flyby is our only option. I'll get as low as possible, but you'll have to eject over the target area.
Fucking badass, let's do it.
I've fallen out of so many things now, I should be a pro.
Heard about your free fall to Habitat 7. Liam
Yeah,
said he
just like
could
that.
hear you screaming the whole way down. Keep it buttoned this go round, huh? It's embarrassing.
I think I'll be fine.
All right, you know the drill.
scream all I want.
Watch
It was
your rate
fun.
of descent. Shield should take care of the rest.
And jump jets. Don't forget jump jets. Those are
So
important
far,
for this.
so good. The Ket haven't detected us.
But once we go in, we'll be clear as day to any troops on the ground.
Don't worry about us. Just make sure you and the Tempest get out safe.
Loud and clear.
Cool. Speaking of incredibly badass maneuvers like this, I've been still been reading, I guess, rereading the Star
Everyone
Wars
okay?
EU.
I think I bumped my head, but I'm good.
Oh, good.
We'll need to survey the area,
be
figure
fine.
out what we're dealing with.
I am detect.
The Ket have spent a lot of effort here.
They must be desperate to figure this stuff out.
Yeah, I've been rereading the Star Wars EU, and I just went from I finished the Thrawn trilogy,
Pathfinder.
and went
While
immediately
interacting with
on
that
to the
console, I
immediate sequel
detected
right
the presence
afterwards,
of a
written
complex
5 or so
network
years later.
Connected via a central command hub.
That being the 8th
hub?
book in the
You mean we
X-Wing
found
series.
Meridian's controls?
It's Izard's
Likely.
Revenge.
However, the hub
Izard,
is down,
Izard's Revenge, whatever.
deactivated.
And the cool part about it, the really cool part about the sort of transition from one to the other, especially given that I went right from one to the other, is that I
Let's
think
see what
second to
Meridian's all
last
about.
chapter
We can start by finding its central hub.
of The Last Command is the Battle of Dobringi, which is where Thrawn dies. Spoiler, I guess? Not spoiler. 30-year-old book almost at this point. Yeah, it was the Battle of Dobringi is the sort of culminating event, culminating battle, at least, of the Thrawn campaign, and it's depicted at the end of The Last Command, and is the opening chapter of Izard's Revenge. And so we get two different perspectives on it. We get the fleet perspective, which is focusing on Akbar and Wedge, which is written by Timothy Zahn. And then you have the squadron perspective, which is about Rogue Squadron, focusing on Wedge and the rest of the squadron, so Wedge and Corran, most notably. And so it is so cool to see both of them sort of side by side like this, to read one right after the other. Because he even repeats some of the same like lines of dialogue that we get over comms and things like that, to see the same battle take place described differently. And I will say, as far as battles go, Michael Stackpole does such a better job depicting the battle than Timothy Zahn. That Michael Stackpole does such unbelievably good descriptions of sci-fi military campaign stuff. There are some things that Timothy Zahn does better. Some of his character stuff is probably better, but
We are looking
man,
at the central command hub I detected earlier.
the battle stuff is just
As
so
with the
good in
monoliths and
Stackpole.
vaults, the hub is connected to the two neighboring towers.
In Stackpole's books.
So
gotta go to
activating
each
the
of these two
towers
towers.
will also activate the command hub.
So we could bring Meridian online right now? Forget scouting, let's do that.
What about the kit?
Okay, right.
Activating a vault has previously activated a purification field. Perhaps Meridian is similar.
Let's head to those towers and see what we can find.
Yeah, but how are we going to get out this time? We would need to get
interfacing with that console has
Nexus it.
activated a gravity well.
Let's do it.
Look at this place. It's amazing.
Really cool.
Pathfinder, I'm picking up radio interference. A Ket signal.
Alert! The detected signal was a decoy. Peter's era has been infiltrated. All units are to focus on the incapacitation and capture of the Pathfinder.
At least we got a little bit of a head start.
Store data. I
I
can't
wonder if there's
access
a
it.
broken Atmo processor somewhere that's causing this downpour.
Or maybe the builders just liked rain.
Like, maybe.
Here we go!
Oh, jeez.
Cat above us, we're completely open!
Hey, there we go.
It frustrates and angers me that this place was hidden from my people for so long.
Matters report. Lack progress, Sector 16-1. Remnant defenses adapt to bypass attempts. The Archon's mandate is not to use force is frustrating some senior analysts. There was one attempt to track a door with an explosive. Those involved were subjected to disciplinary action per the Archon's wishes. Remnant technology is sensitive, and utmost care must be taken when attempting secrets. Another warning has been issued to all soldiers with a full accounting of the consequences they face if Kaitosera's damaged in any way. Okay. The Ket are trying to infiltrate, but also preserve this place. Destroyed Remnant.
Look out! Reinforcements!
This isn't going well!
That pillar looks familiar. We've been here before, right? No. Maybe I'm thinking of that pillar.
Right, so command hub. Probably need to check out those other two towers first.
Alright, let's move.
Which way should we head?
Oops. Doesn't really matter which way, I don't think.
Sam, what do you think?
Intense vortexes of scourge energy. I would
That's right.
steer clear if I were you, Pathfinder.
Said right first.
Ket equipment. They had everything set up to study this place. Whoa! Plants!
How are they growing here?
Cool.
Hostile shuttle incoming.
Overgrown with vegetation. Where? Where are the bastards? Huh. Okay, fine.
Wow, it's all completely overgrown.
What in the world?
Yep, figured that out quick. Keep it up! We take them down, we take Meridian!
Alright, 2 more? There's gotta be more, right? Jeez, this is complicated. Whoa.
I wonder why they built it like this. Could it be related to how they think?
Isn't it fascinating?
Probably. Okay, so I need to go... What is this? What's that? Gosh, this is wildly complicated. I need to go vaguely south. Well, let's just try and go south. Except for... What is that? There's a dot. There's a blue dot, which is... a remnant critter. Oh, she's an observer. Okay. Alright, well, I'm not going to bother it then. Not bothering me, so I'm not going to bother it. What do we got? What's pinging my scanner?
Cat, down below!
Good spot for an ambush.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cat equipment. Looks like they set up camp.
You know what? I'm gonna keep the gun out. Just in case, you know? Alright.
Big guns! Watch out!
I detect working Remnant technology.
Jeez.
We could turn that against them.
Where are the controls? Here.
Don't touch that remnant goo, whatever it is.
I'm aware.
Look out! Reinforcements!
Where are the turret controls, damn it? Ooh, jeez. Oh god, he's regenning.
That's for every soul you destroyed!
I think that's the last of them. For now.
Sonad. Or Soned. Actually need. Loken. Need. Zolkin don't need. Go, I'll take it. Okay. Okay, on we go. Whoa. Very cool looking. Alright, before we do this, give me just one moment. I'll be right back. Just a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about the delay. Let's keep on going, because I think we're about to get to something quite interesting. Not mistaken.
Whoa! Are those giant mushrooms? What is this place?
Cool. Cool. Bunch of consoles that we can't press. Bunch of what look like stasis pods.
It's very dark in here.
With a shield wall, shield gate, I should say. Shield gates, plural. All right, let's turn some lights on, maybe.
What the hell?
Translating. Pattern 1-3. Viability 56.2%. Genetic template transmitted for testing.
They were doing things to the Angara.
We can't be sure what this is yet, Jarl.
Really? Because the last time we saw something like this, the Ket were turning us into them.
Sam, I need an analysis.
It appears that these beings are not Angara. They are not even alive.
I don't understand. They look so...
The Remnant language refers to these bodies as genetic templates.
A blueprint. Like the plants we saw.
The Angara? We came from here? They created us? Why?
Does it matter why? Where you came from doesn't change who you are.
True. And we still face the same conflicts. I just feel as though something has shifted. I need to think. I need to speak with him, Moshai.
So Meridian can create life. What if the Archon can make it do the opposite? Destroy life?
It's up to us to make sure that doesn't happen.
You write it.
If we crack Meridian's controls first, we make sure the Archon can't use it.
Oh boy, here we go.
Hey, Zhao. You know, if you want to talk about the stuff you found out, I'm here.
Are you reaching out because I am now considered a remnant curiosity?
Ah, that's...
No! I didn't mean it like that.
That's pretty rude.
Got you. You should see your face.
Joe!
Not nice. Not nice. That's funny though. Alright, let's see. Up there. Is that a bridge? Oh, interesting. Did I maybe not supposed to be up here?
Ha! Got that door open.
Ah, clever. Oh. Okay, cool, cool. Very cool. Data core. Data pattern. Greater mental agility, reasoning skills show degrees of improvement. However, soul was fragile, prone to tremors, frenzies, agitation. Interesting.
Another one of these boxes. They were all over.
I've seen trees like this, but not exactly like this on Aya. Perhaps this is a prototype, like the Angara we saw.
Wow. So many. Why did they archive previous iterations?
This is both thrilling and awful.
Good. Okay. Now we just go back. Yeah? Vanadium. profiles, and let's get back out of here. Back to the other side. So this is this is one of those big revelations, right? That the Angara are designed, that they're a genetically engineered species, more or less created by the Jardan, the Remnant builders.
It's coming online. We're doing it. Hey, that pool's gone. There was something down there the whole time.
The whole city is coming to life, just like it's meant to be. 1 tower online and 1 more to go.
What
is all this?
This organism appears to be held in stasis, Pathfinder.
Incubating.
What data I can't find refers to a plant as a prototype.
Look at all those lights. Can you imagine what this was like when it was all working with the builders here?
And what do you imagine a builder looks like?
Tall, glowy, or maybe short and round and glowy.
We always thought they'd look something like their creations. Now that we know they created us, I wonder...
The distinct possibility that they did look something like the Angara.
This is looking ugly! We're in trouble here!
Come on.
Nah, I think we're okay. Ooh! Exploded. Paladin. Okay.
This place would be a gift to the Angara if we could eliminate the Ket. We could learn so much from it.
We'll make that happen, Jal. I promise.
Will activating Meridian benefit the Ket in some way?
The Archon's forces have been here for years, and they're nowhere close to being able to understand Remnant tech.
That must really frustrate the Archon.
Yeah, they have the problem of not having
Gotta be
the
getting close to
AI.
one of those towers. We need to
Because
activate
Sam
both
is
to reach
basically
Meridian's
how
core.
Sam is basically how we're able to interact with the Remnant at all.
This place is huge.
It basically looks like the Remtech is set up so that AI works with it. Did they just actually drop anything off? Or no? It seemed like it.
Still one more tower to go.
Pathfinder, I am quickly building a workable
Refrain from filing inquiries about malfunction and climate regulated issues known will be corrected.
Before.
Huh. That seems like a very organic response. Like that was a note from the builders, not from the Remnant. There we go.
I wish the motion... So
Many guns!
Focus on one group, then we'll get the other. Come on, really?
This is bad. A really bad spot to be in. That's it, right? Woo! Man, those behemoths. That is nasty. Oh, jeez. That was close. Who's this? What? Ah, I see. Cortec.
Pathfinder, the Remnant language
Please
best
save
strikes
work
the
and proceed
similarity
immediately
to
to pre-assigned evacuation stations.
I've never seen anything like this.
Pathfinder, it appears the energy waves from these craters contributed to the scourge throughout Helios.
So whatever happened here caused the scourge to erupt all across the cluster?
Yes, Pathfinder.
The scourge started here, with the Remnant builders.
Or someone attacked them with it.
Either is plausible, really. Okay. Activate our way back, or moving on. Yeah, so part of what we learned here. Oh, jeez. There we go, taken care of. Oh, ouch. Zappy liquid. Fields. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, God. Ow. Big ow. The hell that was? That wasn't good. There we go. Pull up. Jeez. Alright, moving on.
I wish we didn't have to rush around defending ourselves from Ket. Would be nice to take our time and really look at this stuff.
So I will say the artificial creation of the Angara is philosophically interesting insofar as it's possible. The fact that it is possible to genetically engineer a species completely from the ground up, that sort of thing.
I see the conduits.
That's certainly fascinating.
Some kind of pattern here.
And it's telling that that such a thing is technologically possible. In other words, that it isn't a sort of technical dead end. It means that something like that the soul is emergent, right? That ensoulment will occur when a creature becomes sufficiently rational, or sufficiently capable of receiving rationality, or something like that. When a creature becomes capable of receiving a soul, it will receive one. It will be given. That is a predictable consequence of the world. which I'm willing to accept. But beyond that, I do think that what we would have here, theologically speaking, is something akin to the creation of the dwarves in Tolkien, right? That what was the Valar who created the dwarves? I'm trying to remember who it was. I can't remember. One of the Valar, though, the smith, Aule, that's it, Aule. When he creates the dwarves, he creates them, but they don't have souls, right? They are merely constructs. They're automata. But then Eru Ilúvatar, God, grants them freedom, grants them free will, and grants them reason, proper reason. And so it's a kind of participatory act of creation, and I don't see anything wrong with that. That the Jardan Remnant builders could have made something like Angara, and that when they were sufficiently created, God finished creating them, and particularly because individuals. That's actually another thing. This is something that I mentioned in that whole. I think I mentioned this in the whole the Humanity First. The Humanity First video. Hold on. I'll write this down so I can find where I talk about it. Because we have this weird tendency often to think of the species as a kind of entity, as a primary substance, when it isn't. It's a secondary substance at best. Which isn't quite real. And so we have this weird tendency of thinking of the species. But yeah, fine, the species, right, the Angaran species was created by the Jardan, but that's not true of Jal. Right? Jal was born of his mother. Just like we might have this issue of thinking of the human species as having evolved from lower life forms, but that doesn't mean that I did, per se, right? I was born of my parents. That's the sort of theologically and even metaphysically relevant truth with respect to the individuals concerned, right, under discussion, not the species as such. The species doesn't exist. Right? It's not a thing. That's just talking about the origin of certain humans, broadly speaking, or people, hundreds or thousands or millions of years ago. That's all it's really talking about.
Wow, I think that's fried. Will it even work?
Come on, I'm sure some of this stuff's still okay.
Damage to parts of the system are preventing power-up.
Can we reroute past the damage?
That may work, Pathfinder. Boosting trace signals.
Okay, so that one,
some kind of glyph on this thing. Looks like part of some kind of pattern.
Oh, this one?
So far, so good.
This is one of those where if you screw it up, it blows up on you. Or no, it sends in baddies, if I recall. Exploration systems online.
Let's see about rerouting the power
more
past all the
exploration
damage.
systems.
Excellent.
Okay. I love doing that. I know I just wasted it, but wasted the canister.
I think that's it.
The primary console should work now, Pathfinder.
Oh. Can't even scan it. Very cool, though. Yeah, the brightly glowing lights floating in empty space as a user interface is a really bad design, but it's very 80s sci-fi, which is very Mass Effect. So I'm okay with it. Ooh, are those ships?
Provisional repairs are complete.
Those are ships over there. Those look like fighters.
Only one way to know for sure.
I want one. I don't want one, I want a dozen. I want a squadron. They're probably not fighters. They're probably unarmed exploration ships if I know this universe.
Welcome,
this part of the universe. Administrator, cool.
Looks like those repairs worked better than expected.
Restoring systems has reactivated something else nearby, Pathfinder.
Yeah, but what?
Yeah, they are ships. I don't know if they're just little exploration vessels or if they are fighters, but very cool looking.
Translating. Exploration vessels on standby.
Nice.
We have seen remnant ships, but none in working condition. It says it cannot retrieve commands from the Meridian engine.
Meridian engine?
Looks round.
Sam, do you know what?
Oh. Hello there.
They're going to be trouble.
Are they going to try and take some of those ships? Because I need them. I need them much more.
Restoring power, welcome to Remnant. Ryder. Detect a surge of energy on the scans. The section you're in lit up like Mardi Gras. Sure, Mardi Gras, except for jazz, fun, and not being shot at. What's going on? Are you all...
Can't talk right now!
There we go. Nice.
Security's down. We're good. The Ket are probably waiting out there for us. So stay alert.
That was massive, massive damage. X. I don't know how I got that that Remnant submachine gun to do so much damage to armor. Like, it shouldn't. That doesn't make sense. Like, Mass Effect rules say that... I have too many of those? Okay, fine. Like, Mass Effect rules say that submachine guns are better against shields, not armor. Whatever, it's fine.
So, we'll be able to get into the command hub now?
Ideally.
All right, 2 towers going. Should get us into Meridian's main control room.
Okay, reload. There we go. All my weapons are properly loaded. Oh, hello.
Is amazing. I'm so lucky to see it.
Okay, we're good. Oh, was close. Do not want to go there. What? Oh, that was the bridge. It was the bridge I extended earlier. I need to do it again, don't I? Yeah, this one isn't going to work, though. And that's a chasm. So. Alright. Fine, fine. Moving on.
Scott! Can't beat us here?
We did the work. They don't get to reap the benefits. Come on out, buddy. Uh-oh. Oh, jeez. I was too close there. The self-destruct almost got me. My bad. Okay, let's see. I kind of love that I can just, like, stand in the face of a lot of enemies and just soak them. Four of them! Nullifiers, huh? Are there more? Is that all? Aha!
Okay, did I actually get to level 100? Did I get to level 100 yet? 99! Ah, yeah. I gotta say, though, another cool thing about the leveling in this game, because of New Game Plus, there is no level cap. So you can just continue leveling indefinitely if you just keep doing enough playthroughs. And I might have even gotten to 200 at some point. It's kind of crazy. Ooh. This little piano.
What do you think we're going to find?
No idea, but that looks like a gravity well.
It does. This looks like something. Remnant data cores. Okay. Oppositions. Next moves. Learn from intelligence from Geln. Take action. Protect the work. Individual life is nothing. The machine of life is everything. Machine of life. Sounds like the name for Meridian. Geln sounds like a planet, but it could be something else. Could be a city. Could even be a ship. Probably. Okay, let's go. Ooh. If I remember right, not to metagame too much, but I think I'm going to be dealing with Ket here, and a lot of them
Meridian Central Command. It's
over
amazing.
quite the area.
Finally.
So I should probably go Vanguard here. Why is it blinking at me? What am I supposed to scan? It wants me to scan something. What? Those. Yeah, this is a very vertically dynamic arena.
Whoa! I think we saw that from space. Wonder what's in there.
Huh. That's that central spire. Cool. What am I supposed to scan? What does it want me to scan? I don't get it. It's probably fine. Let's do this. And I am barely going to have time to finish this. 25 minutes left. Man.
Translating. Connection lost. Meridian engine not found.
Meridian engine? That's the
Sam,
round
is there
thing.
damage here? Can we restore systems like we did before?
I'm sorry, Pathfinder. Systems are intact, but they are searching for a component that doesn't appear to exist.
What do you mean doesn't appear to exist?
One moment, Pathfinder. I have found something. Translating. Final Administrator log. The opposition's weapon may cause widespread damage. All our weapons, our ships, will not be able to protect us. Protect my goal. We need to disengage Meridian from Command Core, which will remain here to draw fire. Meridian contains all the work of the Jardan. Nothing else matters. I will send it far. We can return one day. Continue the process of renewal.
It sounds like the Angara language, at least it has some phonemes in common. But this is the command core, and Meridian
So
is
this
the thing.
isn't Meridian. Huh. The Archon was wrong. That's funny. I mean, it's horrible. But it's funny the asshole had no idea.
Well,
we'll be able to bring it back, right?
Oh.
You'll destroy this tower and everything in it!
Why? All this time they've been so careful.
Sam,
now they're so desperate
There
not
is
to
no
let us
other
have it.
exit, Pathfinder. However, the Remnant city is not without defenses, and this is its central command.
Remnant defenses, of course. Use them against the Ket.
Go ahead, Sam. Send all those fighters we saw. Or cannons. Cannons are cool too. Cannons are good. Wow, that is one hell of a city. Damn. Why is Scott's face stuck like that?
Wants that one. Destroy the rest.
Okay, here we go.
Watch your backs. It's one of those that can cloak.
Not getting past me, cloak or no cloak.
Woohoo! What?
Lost visual on the leader.
Woo!
I knew those cat were trouble. Lost visual on the leader. Think you're so sneaky, don't you? Got you. And don't forget the rest of those cats. Lost visual on the leader! I know you're around here somewhere. Got you! And don't forget the rest of those cats!
There we go. Nice.
Ground team, is everyone all right?
Dead.
Everyone accounted for.
We saw everything from orbit. It was incredible. The entire city lit up. The scans went wild.
And Ryder?
I bet.
The Ket are retreating. Whatever you did, it worked.
See, this is what happens when you're heavily armed. When you have what is effectively a heavily armed battle station, the invading army will back the hell off.
They got the ass kicking they needed, and delivered by us.
Given your command over the Remnant's defenses, Pathfinder, I predict the Ket will not attempt to recapture the city.
Any progress on
We're
Meridian?
not going to stay here.
Have you got it working yet?
This isn't Meridian, or at least not all of it. Hard to explain. We'll brief you later. So Meridian's gone, but shouldn't this thing know the nav point of where it went?
Contact with the Scourge will have altered Meridian's original path. It would take countless years to determine its current location.
All this Remnant tech around us? The Jardin had to have a plan.
Their plan seemed to be, oh crap, let's get out of here.
Well, if the Scourge is messing things up, maybe that's
Good
where
plan.
we should look.
Look at what, exactly?
I don't know yet. We'll have to think about it.
Yeah, we don't have Meridian yet. But we took this city back from the Ket. That's big.
That just means we need to push forward before they can recover. We have to find Meridian. The real one. Sam, collect all the data you can. Radio the Tempest for extraction. This is going to take work.
This city
It's going to
seems
take all of us.
relatively repairable, and then also capable of supporting, like, plant life. This seems like the kind of thing that could make a good colony. Especially an incredibly defensible colony, unlike everything else. Tonight has been just one of those nights where I'm just whining horribly about the military ineptitude of the initiative.
We're all doing quite well here. Thank you.
That is good to hear. This journey can't have been easy. Speaking of which, we know you defied us. You went for Meridian in direct violation of initiative orders. Even though our reasons were quite clear. Yet, you were correct, Ryder. We should have trusted your instincts. You have proven time and again that you deserve the title of Pathfinder. I have never been so glad to be wrong.
I appreciate your encouragement and your candor.
I am told there are still obstacles to reaching Meridian.
Give him a chance
The
to save
initiative stands
face.
ready to provide whatever support you need.
Pathfinder, if you're done with your call to the Nexus, I'd like to talk to you. I think I've found a way for us to find Meridian.
Okay. We're not doing that yet. I want to talk to everybody. Give you 15 minutes.
Pulled an all-nighter processing the data we received from the Remnant city. It's a lot.
Don't push yourself too hard. Someone's gonna keep you pretty.
No. And maybe. Credits. Yeah. Why not? You can use credits. Alright, let's see, what else do we have? Priority Ops Meridian. We have this one, which we're not going to do tonight. We don't have time. Something on on Kadara that I'm never going to find. More skill points. 39! Oh man, I have a lot of skill points. Maybe I'll do that. Like that seems like the kind of thing I might do off stream, you know? Just maybe. Anyway, let's definitely chat with everybody, huh? No? Okay, Lexi doesn't want to talk. Correct us. That's good.
Every time we fight an exalted Krogan, I think about how that could be me. I'd want you to kill me.
Well, hopefully it won't come to that.
We can talk more later.
Sure.
If it's got to come to that, though, it'll be a hell of a difficult one, but honor nonetheless. What about you, Liam? How you doing?
Pathfinder. Thought you might be Callow. I asked him for nav data.
Data for what?
Mapping the Scourge. Now we know it's a weapon, I hate it more. Designed to isolate, lingers well after the war. I know what that is. It's a minefield.
You saw minefields in crisis response? A lot of wounded?
That was awful, sure. but the long term is worse. Minefields hobble the whole population, make normal life impossible. Mark this. The Ket are bad, but whoever deployed the Scourge, they're some motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, it's an area denial weapon, but also a seek and destroy weapon. It's very strange, as weapons go. It is specifically targeting Jardan technology. So it doesn't target Milky Way stuff, or even Ket stuff, for that matter. But still, even if it does specifically target Jardan technology, it's there in the way of everyone's too. Sell all our salvage. Let's see about... augments? No, nothing. Fine. Let's see how Jaal's doing. Can't be great.
Hello, Scott. Have you come to see if I'm finally broken? To see what discovering that my people were invented has done to me?
Just here if you need to talk. I can't imagine what you're feeling.
I've been staring out the window, trying to figure that out.
That's new.
Good window.
Angara are usually very free with our feelings.
Not talking about all Angara. I'm talking about you.
I'm numb. I'm in awe. There's a peace in knowing that though the universe is beyond your understanding, it doesn't need your understanding to function. That you may even have a hidden destiny.
Does it matter? Your people aren't shackled to this new discovery.
I agree. We don't owe anything to the Jardan. Our destiny is our own. I'm not broken, Ryder. I'm excited. The Angara were created for a purpose. We were given vaults and golden worlds. All these advanced tools. And there is nothing the Ket can do about it. The future holds more for the Angara than a never-ending war on the Ket. Much more.
So when he says we owe nothing to the Jardan, that's complicated. I think I ultimately agree. But it's difficult. Because it is, in some sense, the Jardan are responsible for the existence of the Angara. They're responsible for the creation of the Angara, sort of. But at the same time, again, we're getting caught discussing things in terms of secondary substances, in terms of collectives, in terms of the species. Right? The species, though, doesn't exist. Right? It's not like the Angara are a thing. They are things, particularly people. Persons, even. And so, when we say that the Angara were created by the Jardan, I mean, kind of. But you weren't, you, meaning Jaal, nor was any other Angara alive today. Right? This is very different from our relationship to our creator, our divine creator, God. Because God is directly and individually responsible for the creation and sustaining of every being in being. Ourselves, each of us, and all of the things around us as well. There is a kind of gratitude due to God, which is very different from the gratitude due to the Jardan, if there is any. I mean, at the same time, yes, there's something interesting about knowing that the species was created for some purpose. That's interesting, but it's not determinative in any sense. I'm glad Jaal is getting through that, getting this to some degree. Now, I'll say, I don't know if he's following my reasoning at all. Maybe not. Whatever. Maybe he should be, but that's fine. He's more of a feeler than a thinker.
For the Angara, hell, for all of us. These are amazing, crazy days.
Really crazy. Really amazing. It doesn't matter if we were created by a god, reborn from our ancestors, or exist as the dream of an AI superpower. This discovery changes nothing except ourselves.
I don't think it even changes that.
Everything.
That was kind of a deepity. Deepities. I don't know if again this is maybe an odd and unfamiliar term, but a deepity is a turn of phrase made to sound deep, but without any precise content. And I think that changes nothing except ourselves, which is everything. Which that doesn't quite mean anything. It's meant to sound deep, but without actually being all that deep. Who's he talking to? Petra.
Same here. I'd get nosebleeds just thinking about it.
Well, you are, at least. I don't know about the rest.
Uh-oh. Got a report of a very serious lighting malfunction in your quarters.
In my quarters, huh?
Yep. Guess you won't know unless you head down and see what happens.
I know it's still Shepard. I didn't feel like... Because, first of all, there is no very distinct Scott Ryder smug face. I kept the Shepard one, but I feel like that's going to be necessary. Anyway, yeah, let's finish this one off, and then we'll finish the stream with completing the romance with Cora, topping things off. Let's say.
Sounds like this needs my full attention.
So you're gonna walk in and she's naked. Okay, she's not naked yet.
Malfunction, huh? I think I've been set up.
You got me. I wanted an excuse to see you.
I want to see you is reason enough for me.
Everything we faced, and you're still such a sweetheart.
And you're an incredible woman.
A sweetheart and a sweet talker.
A pathfinder. I know when I found something good.
Let's wait for it. Put this up before anything else. Oh. Let's be tame here, because I will say if we pick option 7 over here, I definitely will need the horny bonk cover screen, because my god, they went ham on this one. But let's just be.
This is all I want tonight. You here. Everything else can wait. Though we're not exactly alone.
Sam, can you turn off your logs for a while? My authorization?
Yes, Lieutenant Harper.
Actual alone time. Best view on the ship. All those stars. Look, there's a dragon.
Corona Andromeda? Maybe. Not quite as beautiful, though.
Riders' footprints, changing lives wherever they go.
And this is sweet.
One day we'll go adventuring together. Just the two of us. A rover, a tent. No map. maps, just the stars. Like the old navigators. Ryder, are you?
I've got you.
Good lord, she needed a nap. Cora really does seem like the kind of gal who just really needs a nap. Just desperately needs a nap. Won't, but just desperately needs a nap. You know? Okay, so let's wrap up looking through our email stuff, and then we will we'll wrap up for tonight. So, Carrie Chavesa, I'm out. Your visit must have shaken things up. Come on by the Nexus, I'll tell you everything. If you tell me about that Remnant city you found, it'll be nice to see you without bars between us. There weren't technically bars. It was more of a glass, but whatever. Cities and gardens. That Remnant city got me thinking about my rose garden. Preparing the ground, planting for the future, all that. The Jardin made the Angara, but what's the end goal? Were they part of some grand plan? Preparing the ground for something else? Wonder if the Jardin had bigger plans for the cluster and where we'd fit in. Laura. I've had some good nights to walk through waist-deep, dewy grass on an alien world, watching the skies for hints of dawn. Sat up all night with my sister huntresses around a campfire that burned the color of witch fire. Last night with you is my new favorite, Cora. Aw. See, and it gonna have to devolve into you know. Well, I mean, to be fair, she needed to be bonked pretty hard based on body language, but regardless. Nice. Dressy not found. Forwarding to Pathfinder Rider. Zoe Walsberg. Supposed to be for Callow? Hi, Callow. I'm trying the new auto address system you suggested. Hope you got your last name right. Oh, no. Guess not. I wanted to say something. Thank you doesn't cover what it means to have someone share the burden. Tracking every credit, though. Prepare yourself for a windfall later. Fly safe, Zoe. Oops, don't worry about this, Ryder. I'll take care of it. Callow. What? What? Okay, fair enough. Belief is weird. I don't talk about stuff like this because my mouth's an idiot. That's correct, Liam. Your mouth is an idiot. We're in weird space now. The Dawn made up people. Back in the Milky Way, we were knocking on the door of stable clones, but that's different. I mean, we got through the door with the Shepherd clone. At least Cerberus did. Man, Cerberus got through that. Cerberus they really can get some stuff done when they need to. The bits are already there. It's snapped together. So I go down this hole about making life, and I start thinking about Sam. Your dad made a kind of life. It's an amazing technical advancement that I look at and just can't even really get the edges of it. It's in your head. That's pretty damn special. Like I need another reason to think Pathfinder is something different here. I don't know the point of this. Sometimes you just write, right? Costa. Names included a list of media-themed creation. Genres include theological talks, scientific papers on technological integration, and a 1995 vid about an AI's choice of footwear. Oh, damn it, what's that? I forget what it's called. I know exactly what he's talking about. I forget what the damn thing is called. All right, cat facts. Started my thesis on cat anatomy and thought you would enjoy some of the interesting facts I have. 332 bones, interesting. No reproductive organs, right? Because they're a virus. Similar to Turians and Quarians, they're digitigrades. Yeah, a lot of aliens seem to be. Bone-like armor that covers their bodies as actual bones. No. Can have double the amount of taste buds as the average human. Interesting. That's pretty cool. Movie night plans. Leaving movie night seems to be catching everyone's interest, especially Dragon PB. There, well, perhaps we should talk. Might need to head off on a medical emergency before it happens. Okay. Return supplies, all medical supplies from Mount Law bases. Okay, that's okay. Okay, that is everything. Alright, that's everything. Looks like we have another side quests week next week. We might actually advance the main quest a little bit. We're not going to finish it. We're probably, from what I remember of the game, we're probably going to finish in 2 weeks. If I'm not mistaken. Probably have 2 weeks left. Which is odd and pretty cool, because we also might have 2 weeks left of of Kingdom Come Deliverance. So we might actually get these close together. And so I might actually be switching to 2 new games within relatively short order of each other, which would be pretty neat. Anyway, I have been thinking about what to play next. My current plans are still for Monday nights being Jedi Fallen Order, and then Wednesday nights being Hogwarts Legacy. Both are sort of Souls-likes, mechanically speaking at least, RPGs. Both are pretty great. Both have their flaws that I can also talk about, both thematically and everything to do with it. I will, again, I've forewarned everybody about this before, but unless I get a massive influx of money right away from you guys, which, by the way, donate right down below at ko-fi.com/Professor McCoy, and if you do want to help with this, feel free, and I will greatly appreciate it. Hogwarts Legacy might be a little janky as far as graphics and such go, but that's okay. It happens. Our commentary is what we're really here for, right? In any case, both of those are coming up. If I am off by a week or two, I've been thinking about picking up the Stanley Parable on Dominic's suggestion, because I remember having watched a playthrough or two of it, and it could make for some really cool philosophical commentary. I don't know if I would go back to the original one, which I think is free at this point, or if I would, or if I'd get the sequel one, the Ultra Deluxe expansion version. I don't know. See, I'm thinking about it. It might make a good little interlude in between the two, in between these games and the next ones, whenever that happens. Either way, those are some things to come. I have been extremely busy as far as recording other videos goes. Unfortunately, I've got some ideas. I have some things written down. I have some things ready. It's just, again, I haven't had the time to record so much, but we'll see. I might have time soon, hopefully. Certainly before the semester starts up again, I should have one or two pretty good ones out that are addressing some things that have come up lately. Anyway, keep an eye out for those sorts of things. Come back here on Wednesday. We're going to be continuing and getting very close to finishing up Kingdom Come Deliverance. And then right back here on Monday once again as we get also pretty close to finishing Mass Effect Andromeda. Anyway, that is all the time I have for tonight. Thank you all so much for joining me. Have a good evening, everybody. Remember, don't be safe. Be well. More importantly, be good. Good night, everyone. There we go. Good night.